What we see today more than ever is tremendous competition, not only locally, but it's global. And what I know that our company does for our clients is to help them do a couple of things. Elevate their brand by making them stand out. And that's what everybody wants to do more than anything. It's kind of a trite statement, but you want to stand out in the crowd. Well, now more than ever, with all the thousands of labels that are out there for the consumer to choose from, you want to be noticed. And we believe that the screen print medium of wine labeling does exactly that. The fact that only 1% of all labels out there are even in a screen printed format tells you there's already an exclusivity there to be reckoned with. And I believe that if you look at some of the real high-end packages, you'll see that in the spirits industry, they're all screen printed packages. So what does that tell you? And it tells me to pass on to the wine industry, you need to look at screen printing as a way to make your $20 bottle of wine look like it should really sell for $30. And what's your consumer going to think? She's going to think, wow, I got a value. This package is beautiful and I'm only paying $20 for it. So that's what we try to do, is give people a bigger bang for the buck with that particular package. I talked about the benefits of a screen printed label over a paper label or a pressure sensitive just due to the nature of its exclusivity. But let's talk for a moment just on some of the real benefits. First of all, talking about production. The labels always go on straight. They're never torn, they don't scuff, they don't wrinkle up in an ice bucket. You can do 360-degree designs around the entire surface of the bottle. You cannot do that in any other medium. Those are tremendous benefits that you can take advantage of. As far as the benefits of, again, perceived value, it's immeasurable. All I know is that people have said, our brands have increased anywhere from 10 to 40% over the last 18 months in this kind of economy, because people have gravitated to this package. So there's that brand elevation, brand awareness. Production benefits, again, I just mentioned them. Scraping, scuffing, tearing. If you talk to anybody in production, where's the Achilles heel when they're bottling wine? It's the labeler. If there's a problem with the labeler, the wine sits out, wine can't go in a bottle, you don't want a winemaker tearing your hair out. So basically right there, we solve a lot of production and bottling issues by going to this wonderful bottle that you don't have to deal with putting a label on it because the label's already on it. So that's just a couple of the benefits I've touched about. But I really want to talk more about the benefit of the value in the consumer's mind, that they're picking up something that's so extraordinary, so different from someone else. They gravitate, their eyes draw to it, versus looking at the other 200 or 300 paper labels that they might see on a fine wine shop shelf. They're going to go out and reach out to grab yours. That's what, I call it the grabability factor. That's what a screen print bottle is going to do for you. When we talk about etching wine bottles, we talk about large format bottles, which are 1.5 liter bottles all the way up to 27 liter bottles. Almost every winery, I don't care if you make just 200 cases of wine or you make 1,000,000 cases of wine, somewhere in that production cycle you will make some 3s, 6s, 9s, 12s, whatever it might be. Those are such small limited runs. That is what you want to use with etching. You want to etch your 12 3-liter bottles or your 24 6-liters, and you can sell them to your collectors, or you want to make sure that they go to your finest wine shops or restaurateurs. And quite frankly, the fact that you're doing such small runs of etched bottles, we are extremely cost competitive if you went out to get a paper label made. So that's almost a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, that the large formats should always be etched. And that's what we do. We don't look to screen print 100 3-liter bottles or 50. Those are always etched. Screen printing we keep for splits, 375s, 500 ml, 750s, and magnums. We do the occasional 3-liter of screen printing, but it's got to be such a quantity that makes sense financially. When I started my business in 1989, we started as etchers and painters of large format wine bottles. Every winery out there, whether you're a 500 case winery or a 1,000,000 case winery, will always have a need to bottle up 6, 12, 24, 100 3-liters, which typically wineries use for top restaurant placements, distributor incentives, wine club enthusiasts, selling them out of the tasting room. Anybody that bottles small quantities like that, it makes more sense from a cost standpoint to have them etched. And to have an etched bottle, it's done by an artisan. It's etched by hand, painted by hand, so it really has a real beautiful intrinsic value to it. And we have 400 wineries that do that. And again, from quantities of 2 bottles to 100 bottles. But that's typically what a winery will do. They'll have them etched just because it's going to be a special bottle. And I really encourage people to etch more bottles because they're finding out now, as more people come into their tasting rooms, the enthusiasts, the collectors, really want to buy those. So you can make it a real revenue generator, where in the past people might have thought, well, it's an etched bottle, I'm going to donate it. Yes, you will have your donated items, a handful, but turn around and why don't you make them the revenue generator for you, and do limited runs and make them available for your wine club or your tasting room, and you will be amazed by that extra bit of profits that'll go down to the bottom line, and you'll be very pleased with that result. When people come to us looking at alternatives to their current package, they say we want to freshen up our package. Maybe it's been out there for 10 or 15 years, or right now they're concerned about holding their price points where they are on the retail shelf. And so they say, what can we do to change that? And I say, what you want to do is change your package. Not create another paper label, but go to screen print. Create something different. And that's part of what you can call it a refresh, you can call it a repackaging. But what you're asking yourself as a winery to do, and here we are as your partner, is to say, we need to create a different look for our bottle of wine that's currently selling for $25. Our distributors are saying, well, gee, we're having a hard time selling it, so if you want to discount it to us, we'll continue to carry it. I don't want to hear the word discount. I know it's been out there in the market a lot. I'm trying to help you not discount your wines. You can do that to move more cases. What I'd rather see you do is make your package look like it should be worth $35 or $40, but yet it's still retailing for $25. So if the consumer is grabbing it and they're selling out in the wine shop or in the market, they're going to go back to the distributor and they're going to say, we need more product. So that is what, when I talk about refreshing or repackaging, it's all about branding. What can we do? If you want to move more cases, if your revenues are flat or they're declining, what are your choices? You can discount your wines, or you can maybe say, maybe what I need to do is change my package. And even if it costs you a few pennies more to screen print versus maybe the paper label you had before, isn't it worth it to know you're holding your margins and possibly growing that brand and increasing your case quantities on a yearly basis? That's what we want to do. That's what we sit down with our clients and talk to them about, the real benefits of screen print and changing your packaging. Hard to believe, but I started this business in 1989. I had been a corporate banker in San Francisco, but I was born and raised in Napa, come from a line of entrepreneurs in my family, and I wanted to come home. I discovered by accident the field of etched wine bottles, which is how I first started in '89. And over the course of 10 years through 1989 or 1999 and 2000, we were the preeminent etchers and painters of wine bottles in California. And we still do a wonderful body of work today. It was in the mid-90s that I was asked by large global wineries to get into screen printing because we had established such a reputation on the etching side. They wanted to see if we could bring that same level of passion, quality, and commitment to them to the print side. So we did our homework, spent 2 or 3 years really kind of dabbling in it, getting our first pieces of equipment, and I decided in 1998 and 99 to really elevate my game in that field, and so I hired top-level talent who have been with me now a dozen years. From that, we've trained our leads. Our art design team has come in. We have 3 ladies that collectively have spent 25 years in the industry. That is what I needed to bring to my clients, and I believe we have done that. So now, I'd say 80 or 90% of my business is screen printing, 10 or 15% is etching. I still love that aspect of the business, but my real growth, and the growth I believe for my industry, is in screen printing. And that is what I'm committed to with our 5 print machines, with our staff of 35 people. We are committed to bring a level of packaging and branding that's never been seen before in the wine industry. And that's what I'm going to do for the next 23 years. We do runs as small as 100 cases to runs of 20,000 cases and everything in between. A very typical client will be a winery that has 3,000 cases. spread over 7 different SKUs. He makes a Merlot, he makes 2 single vineyard Pinot Noirs, he makes a Chardonnay, she makes a Cab Franc. So we are very good at printing 334 cases of this item, 721 cases of that item, 626 cases of this item, and yes, we cut the numbers that tight because our winemakers call out numbers that tight. So for anybody to not consider, they think, oh, I'm too small. I said, well, what winery doesn't make 100 cases of a port? Or you have your winemaker that comes to you as the proprietor and says, gee, I made this really cool Petite Syrah, but we only have 6 barrels of it. Bring me the 150 cases. We'll print a beautiful 2-color package, give it to you affordably, and you're going to love it selling it out of your tasting room. So don't think just because you're a small producer that only makes 1,500 cases that you can't talk to us. As I said, we'll do 100 cases for anybody, whether you're Diageo or whether you're John Blair starting up in Sebastopol, California. One of the ways to really take advantage of our services is to call us in the fall and the winter. From September through February is a good time to take advantage of fall and winter discounts, specifically for etching, but also for screen printing as well. It's a good time. We get a little quieter. As you well know, it seems to me that the industry likes to bottle most of their wines between January and August. They're a little bit quieter in the fourth quarter, as you know, because you're busy in harvest. So while you're busy in harvest, let us take advantage of that slow period in our barn and etch up your large format bottles. Or even do some small screen print runs, and we're happy to hold your glass for a month or 2 if you're still tamping out some things and don't really want to bottle something until December. We will work with you on any basis like that to give you what you want to take advantage of the fall and winter discounts for pricing.